What's up, guys? A little bit of technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. I still have Ryan on here. We got everything back up and running. Hopefully you guys can find the link on YouTube. I'm going to splice this all back together and put the show as one later on. Computer crashed. I don't know what happened, but we think Ryan was saying something that was top secret. Top secret material. And that's two of me. That's not Ryan. Hang on. We'll get it.
I thought I was just seeing double.
Yeah. Whoa. I don't even like one of me that much. All right, here we go. So Ryan's coming back. All right, now I got him. All right, guys. So, I want to continue the conversation just talking about, hopefully you kind of know where you were. I did see Lynn say something about she doesn't like any of this process. And I would like to say that none of us like this process. Like we don't like being stuck. And I was saying to Andrew Does Hair on the last episode, like I feel very grateful that I have this to be kind of a consistency. Like this show has kind of saved my sanity a little bit, just being able to do something Monday through Friday and get up for something and go to work. And I'm well aware that a lot of hairdressers don't have that outlet. But we're creative people, and I think that, if we've used this time, which some of us are getting back to normal a little bit, but if we've used this time to grow ourselves and to really sit back and think and to retrain our minds and all of that stuff, I really think that's what we're talking about from a 10-year standpoint. So you were saying like 10 years from now, we could be sitting together, and talking about this time.
Yeah. I think not even 10 years. I'm thinking 10 months. I think that we're going to see it rather quickly. Like even like next year, I think that we're going to see it. And I don't like what's going on either. I mean, I've been managing to keep pretty busy most of the time as well. But like, for instance, yesterday I stood in my kitchen for maybe 15 minutes staring out the window, trying to decide if I wanted to start day drinking or not. I mean, I couldn't make the decision because I was like, do I want to do this again? Do I want to play Sim City? Do I want to play Fallout? Do I want to go try and do something creative? And I will just like put my face against the window because I don't want to go outside sometimes. I mean, like there's nothing to do and it's driving me crazy. So I feel the same way. On the other hand, I did take a lot of this time. I was talking about education before, but I also talk about what I've other things that I've been doing. But education wise, I feel that I don't know if it fell off before I finished talking about this, but I was talking about how I think that hands-on education is going to become super valuable because I think that all these manufacturers are spending so much time giving away free education online. I think that when hands-on education comes to your town, you're going to really be thankful for it, so you can actually get together and hang out with people, almost like a homeschool kid, almost like when we all get together, we're just gonna want to like hang out so much, and like it's gonna be crazy.
I totally agree. That's actually such a good point when you look at like the future of hair shows and all of that that we kind of talked about. All of them got canceled, but the fact is, for quite a while, I don't think we're gonna have big gatherings of people. So the intimate 10-person education hands-on is going to be a big deal, I think, and more often.
I also think that the big ones are going to come back big time. I think that if they were to take a chance, because I know that Premier's talking about having Orlando this year in August, and I think that IBS is as well. If they were to take a chance, and if people did, feel like comfortable enough to go back out, I think it's going to be more attended than ever because we all miss each other. Hairdressers are pack animals, and we all want to hang out with each other. That I feel like people are going to want to hang out. I know I do more than ever.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And I'm afraid that I'm going to have. I'm afraid that I'm going to have PTSD when I do finally get out and hang out with people, and I won't know what to talk about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. One thing that I've been talking about with a lot of people though is I feel like if there are salons or business owners, and when I'm talking business owners, I even talk employees can be their own business really. But I think that people should be and should have been rebranding themselves 100% this entire time and focusing on branding themselves. So when they get back behind the chair, they'll be able to they'll be beasts. You know, they could
Yeah.
completely rewrite their brand right now because they've been quiet, you know, or if they did put something out, they put out very small amounts. They could be, you know, they could rebrand and just take off, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid of getting on social media because they feel like it's, you know, it's too hard, it's too much work or any of that kind of stuff. You're right. Social media is work. Social media is a full-time job.
For
But you
sure.
have to do it, you know,
Yep.
and it's free compared to when, you know, we both opened businesses way back in the day, and in order to get the same kind of advertising, you had to take out newspaper ads, which was expensive,
Yeah.
you know.
It was really
So
expensive. I mean, we based everything on word of mouth because we didn't have the money to put, you know,
yeah,
towards
me
newspaper
too.
ads and all that stuff. And we opened in 2008, and that was like the, you know, the worst that we were in the recession at that point. So it was
Yeah.
like, you remember when they were doing car clunkers for whatever? It was like cash for clunkers,
Cash for
and they give you
clunkers,
like,
yeah.
$5,000 for any car that there was. Well, like we were doing
Yeah.
like cuts for, you know, whatever, like we were doing 50% off haircuts, you know, like just giving things away because it was such a bad time. So,
Oh yeah.
you know, this is going to be at least when everybody's starting to go back to work a little bit. I know we aren't because we're in a different phase of this whole thing, but it's good that our clients are starting to get back to work because then when they, you know, they'll have financially be more set when we're ready to go. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a good way to look at it.
Hadn't even thought of that. That's a great way of looking at it because I've been sitting here just pissed off that they're not letting hairdressers, you know, back to work because literally all my friends are off work.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that. It's actually a really good idea that our clients are going back so they have money to spend with us. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I didn't really think
Great
about
way
it
of
yet
looking at it.
until then, until that moment. That's a good thing about just talking, you know. All of a sudden you're like, wow, that sounded pretty good. All right, but that's how it works, you know. So, all right, cool. Let's see. Is there anything else? I'm new to the industry and I'm finding your videos so useful. Oh, thank you. Sometimes I shouldn't read until I read. I sit by the pool. Haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
Hair school classes have been canceled and I'm going insane. It's horrible. I'm just thankful for all the online tutorials and videos, which I learned from. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's good. I don't think there's any other questions. Anything else you want to talk about, Ryan, before you head out?
One thing that I'd probably tell people too, just, you know, based off of that last comment that you just read about, you know, I'm so grateful for the hands-on or the online free education that people are seeing. I think that's awesome. I think that, you know, people, you know, doing demos of haircuts and all that kind of stuff. I think it's keeping people, you know, busy so they don't go insane. And, you know, I think it's inspiring a lot of people that are watching the haircuts. But what I also love as well is all of the, you know, chats like what you're doing right now with, you know, Woke Up This Way and talking to people. And, you know, I think that when you get motivation and when you get, you know, skill training shouldn't only come from this.
Yeah.
I feel like skill training should also come from this. And I think you're spending some time with that. And I really appreciate it. And I think that there's a lot more people that need to focus on maybe not just haircutting, but also on the chat or the personal experience training, essentially.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Not enough people watch things like, you know, we're going through this with our son right now. He's into lacrosse and, you know, he's 12, but he says, I want to be a professional lacrosse player. And he's really into it. He practices every day. But we say to him, you know, like, just shooting a ball doesn't get you to be a professional. You have to study. Like, so things that he doesn't, I mean, he actually likes it, but like, he'll sit down and go through like film, you know? And I think as hairdressers, like, there's a lot of things you can take from different things. And I played sports growing up, but like, and I know you're not a sports guy necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that on Facebook, but there's a lot of things like as you grow up, like you know, there's parts of a job that maybe aren't the glamorous part of it, but it's so important to take advantage of, like right now, just really studying why certain people are successful. Like I look at different people's Instagrams or I look at, you know, different haircutters. I'm like, well, how did they create that little piece? Like if I have trouble behind the ear in that bob, like I'll study and watch where are their hands? Like how are their hands positioned? What is the elevation during that? Why did they get a better line than I get? And like, I just completely try to break down that little aspect of it And that's where I think a lot of people need to get more into that stuff and listen and be a part of a conversation, like be in the chat talking and asking questions about things, because that's the only way you learn.
Definitely.
I see. Yeah,
so you said your son's into lacrosse?
Yeah.
One of my old clients was a professional lacrosse player up in Canada, by the name of Dallas Eluick, I think was his name, and they actually just retired his jersey like 2 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's I love lacrosse. Like it's, if you guys like, I make a lacrosse Instagram for our son. Like me and my wife, we do it together as well, and it's a full-time job. Like he posts a video every day, and he's been growing, and he's at like almost 1,000 followers. Good. And he posts his workouts every day, and you know, he has teams from all over the country that send him private messages and players, and like it's all a part of it. You know what I mean? Like it's the future. Like if people are going to see you, you know, you got to see those workouts, and they're already seeing him at 12 years old. So, you know, when he's 18, you don't know, but like, again, it's part of the world. Yeah.
And that translates to beauty school students. I mean, beauty school students like calling me and asking me, you know, how do I become successful, or how do whatever. I mean, do exactly what your son's doing right now, and post your workouts, post your hair workout.
Yep. And then we post
exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, and we post his workout, and then we tag every single professional training company team. Like you tag all of the people. So if you translate that into hair, you tag all your favorite hairdressers, the salon that you want to work at, the you know, because then that makes people aware of you. And we talked about that for a long time. Like if you want to work in a specific salon and you can't get an interview with them, if you tag them every day with work that you're doing and it's beautiful, like there's no way that, even if it's not beautiful, but the just the fact that you're doing it consistently every day, I would hire somebody in a heartbeat if that's what they were doing every day. You know?
Exactly.
So,
me too.
Yeah. So you can teach how to do hair. Like that's not, you can teach anybody to do hair, but you can't teach somebody to want it, you know? And that's like
exactly.
So all right, Ryan. Well, dude, thanks for going through the crash with me. I appreciate that. And
I will always go through a crash with you, Matt.
And I just want to know, I need to know this. So I'm live every day. If I need you, I'm going to text you, and this link will get you through to me all the time. So you could just come on live whenever you want. Okay?
Okay. I'd love to. Yeah, totally. I'd love to.
I'm trying to build a team of like, do I need Ryan Teal's opinion right now? I'm just going to text him and like get you on here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. I'd love to do that.
All right, cool. And you're great at pulling up a signal, which is those are the key people I'm trying to find. I need personality and tech ability. So, all right, man. Well, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Everybody appreciates it. They're very, they're happy to see you. So go follow Ryan Teal.
And come do a happy hour with me.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'll do it right around the kitchen table. It'll be fun.
Okay, cool. There is some cussing now.
That's okay.
Tell Amy I said hi.
I will, for sure. All right.
Okay. See you guys.
All right, dude. We'll see you. All right, guys. I'm back. All right, so we're going to continue on with the show. I don't even know how long this show has been at this point because we had the crash, but I don't think it's been too crazy. I know it was a little more chatter than normal, but this is about a hangout for us guys and learning and just having fun, enjoying these days. So the next video that we're going to get into is we're going to have kind of an undercut theme for a couple haircuts. I got 3 haircuts left. Also, if you want to see something, post it in the chat as well. And then we dropped off in our numbers. So we had record numbers on Friday. We were killing it today until the crash. Now we're real low on numbers. So let's get some people in here. Share this show. If you can, hit share on whatever social platform you're on, Facebook or YouTube. Just hit the share button and share it to whatever social platform is your favorite. Or tag a friend that's just a hairdresser. Tag them. Say, get them over here. We're going to do this haircut. This is a great haircut for thick hair. So this is my client, Amy. She's got super thick hair. We do an undercut on her. She's already got one, so we just clean that up. And then we go in and do some layering with a razor. I think you guys are going to like it. So let's get started with the video. Here it is. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, so this is my model for the day. This is Amy. What we're going to do on her hair, she's got really, really thick hair. She also has a shaved underneath, which I'm going to show you guys in a second. That is not something I did. It's something that she does even on her own. So what I wanted to do is just clean that up. But I also like the fact that she has that because it does take out a lot of weight from the underneath. I probably wouldn't go up as high as it is, but because it's already there, it is what it is. So for the sectioning, I create a horseshoe section all the way around parietal ridge, back around a little bit lower on the crown. And the reason I go a little bit lower is because I'm going to cut layers underneath this U shape or this horseshoe shape on the top. I'm going to cut those layers, and then the rest of the hair is going to hang over top of it. So we're going to be creating a disconnection, and my goal with that is to make sure that I have that hair that falls over it so I don't have short layers everywhere. So right there you can see I kind of expose that underneath section. That, again, she doesn't go to a salon to get that done. They just kind of shave it up. So I wouldn't go quite as high up on the occipital bone, but that's just my personal preference, and it actually does work pretty well for her hair. I'm using the Andis Envy. This is a cordless clipper. I'm using a 1 guard on it just to go in and, again, clean it up. I'm not really trying to do anything fancy underneath here. I just want it to look nice. So I take the 1 guard, and then I go through. I go a half step down. Take it a little tighter around the nape, and then I go in with my Andis T trimmer just to finish it up, create some lines in the back, and that is how we do the bottom of the haircut. Now I let down the interior part of the haircut, and what I'm going to be using, the tool of my choice for this cut is the Donald Scott swivel twist razor. The reason I like this tool is because I can use any comb that I want. I'm using the YS Park 339 comb to get a nice tight tension, and I like a smaller comb. I also spray all over the head the Donald Scott Prepare, which is it's a liquid tool glide for the razor. It also is pure coconut and sunflower oil, so it gives a nice slip to the hair. It helps keep the hair protected when using it for razor cutting. So the thing I like about the twist is you'll see I'm not carving into the hair. I slide through it. So I pick where I want to cut, and I bring everything straight out from the head, and I'm working in basically pie-shaped sections all the way around the underneath of the hair, starting at the mid-shaft and working my way to the end, sliding that razor down. What that's going to do is remove weight from me, but keep her length. If you're afraid of cutting into your guest's length, then what I would do is just drop that length out and then do your slide cutting. For me, I keep the length right at the tip of my finger so I know exactly where it's at. I'm going to continue these pie-shaped sections around the head to the right as well. The only difference is now my fingers are pointing down. And we've talked about this in many videos, but as I work to the right-hand side of the head, you never want to comb your guide into the new hair. So I'm always combing the new hair towards the guideline. So on the left-hand side, I comb the hair towards the middle, and then on the right-hand side, I'm still combing the hair towards the middle, so I make a shift in my hand position, which keeps me consistent, keeps my sectioning there, and my guideline there as well. So just working my way all the way to the front hairline, and then sliding from mid-shaft to the ends, keeping the length but removing the weight. Now, this is a pretty simple haircut because all I'm going to do is drop down 1/2 of that U shape, and I'm going to do the same thing, sliding. What I wanted to do here was overdirect everything to the very front, create a stationary guide, create layering around the face, but then pushing that weight to the back. So what we did was we created the layers underneath. We took out a ton of weight, but now I'm pushing that hair over top of it. So at the back of the U shape, if you think about it, that's going to be the longest point. The shortest point is right in the front of the face. So we're creating layers, and then the longest point is falling over top of those layers that we created in the back. Also, what you'll notice about this technique is we're creating a fringe, and using the Donald Scott twist, it has one side of it cuts 100%, which is the side I'm using right now. And then what I do is I go through at the very end and I use the 25%, you can see it right there, 25% cutting side, which takes out 25% of the hair to just remove some bulk. So I comb it around the face, 25%, carve it a little bit below the mid shaft, and just work my way through it, and that lightens it up so it's not so heavy. Now I'm going to go in with the Bricado Conditioning Mousse. It's Cloud 9. I'm a mousse. I really love mousse, so I'm always on the search for my favorite mousse. This one I love because it's really fluffy and thick feeling, but it doesn't feel heavy on the hair. It's conditioning. It helps repair the hair as well. So nice thick mousse. And then also the Root Fix, it's a root lifter mousse that I spray right at the base because I'm going to go in and do a round brush blow dry. I wanted to build up some volume. The blow dryer I'm choosing today, this is the Minerva blow dryer. I've been giving away on the podcast quite a bit. So if you guys listen to our podcast live on Wednesday nights, you have a chance to win one of these blow dryers from Minerva. This thing is super powerful. So I go in, I do a power blow dry. And now I'm going to section off the mohawk section of the hair and start in with my Ergo round brush. This is the number 43 brush, so it's not the largest one that we have. It's more like a medium size. I like using that because it gives me a little more volume. People think that the bigger the round brush, the bigger the volume, but it's actually the complete opposite. So I like to use a medium brush when I'm looking for some volume in the hair. Notice how when I'm blow drying, I work that section back and forth. I also use the nozzle on the blow dryer to keep the hair nice and smooth, and I allow it to pass over the hair to keep that cuticle down. Shiny hair is when the cuticle is laying down, so that's what you want to be creating. You don't want to be shaking the blow dryer back and forth all over the place. Now I'm going to speed it up because I do the same thing all the way around the head. Just basically blow drying and wrapping it back off of her face is my goal with this. Now, as I move into the top portion, I'm going to take horizontal partings across the top. Let's call it horizontal because it's right in front of me. And I'm going to section it. I'm blow drying, round brushing back off of the face until I get to the midpoint of the head. And then I'm going to round brush everything forward to create extra volume. So you can see we're still doing that. They call it the truck and trailer method, I guess. Just working that blow dryer up against the brush. And now I'm blow drying forward, which is going to give me maximum volume right around the front of her head. I didn't need maximum volume in the very back of the head because of the fact that she's got so much thick hair back there. But she likes to wear her hair kind of tossed to either side in the front. That's why we cut it to almost appear like we were going to cut it for a center parting, but I wanted to keep it more symmetrical because she likes to toss it back and forth on both sides. Now to finish it up, this is that VibraStraight iron. This is the giveaway that we're doing. So if you want to win this iron, it is an 1.5 inch iron that vibrates as you smooth it. You can curl with it, smooth, straighten, do whatever you want. The vibration separates the hair as it goes through, so it really allows you to not have as many passes over the hair, so it creates less damage. This one has 2 separate settings, so it's really good. It's a good consumer-based iron. They also have a professional version as well. Then we're going to finish it off with the Bricado Maximum Hold Hairspray. This is basically one of those sprays that will stop a bird in flight, we used to say. It's super firm hold, so I just spray it a little bit just to hold it in place, and you can see all those layers, all the movement that we created in this cut. It looks nice and light, but also still thick and full as well. It's much easier for her to manage. Check out the bottom where that shaved part is. It's nice and airy. It's got a nice textured look to it. So hope you like it. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for... All right. So let me... There it is. I'm coming back. Yeah, that's turn that off. There we go. Now I'm back. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that technique. I did hear some people in the chat, so everybody seems like they love it. Shiny hair, very cool. One person said my clients wouldn't do this. I think it was Lynn. So Lynn, this is what I would say to you. Not everybody's going to do an undercut for sure. So what you could do is transform that undercut from being shaved to just working on that underneath. So like Ryan was saying in his video, the basement part, going through and maybe just thin it out quite a bit underneath, as opposed to trying to thin the top. So taking out a lot of that density, a lot of that weight, or layering that underneath, and then allowing a disconnected top to come over so that you're not cutting tons and tons of layers in the hair to remove weight. You're cutting layers for movement. And that's like the biggest difference for me, is to make sure that, you know, I'm not just layering hair to remove anything, I want to layer the hair to actually benefit my client. So in Amy's case, she's got so much hair, I'd have to do so many layers if I didn't do the undercut. That undercut takes away half of her hair, and she loves it. Now, if I had an older client that didn't want to do that, didn't want an undercut, maybe wears her hair up all the time, then what I would do is I would go in, take from occipital bone down, and just run some texturizing scissors through it, layer it, and then allow that top and just cut from occipital bone up into its own haircut, and have the underneath kind of just be there and skinny it out. So hope that makes sense to you guys. Somebody's asking, I can't pronounce the name, but do you ship your tools to the Middle East? I don't. We don't ship to the Middle East. We only ship right now in the U.S., and that's because we sell Mizutani scissors, and there's a weird thing with only being able to sell to the U.S., even though we're a worldwide company. But if you're in the Middle East, you can get our app, which is free, and you can download it. There's education on there. There's a community on there. I'm actually going back and forth in between these videos with the developer because we're about to launch the new update, which I'm really excited about for you guys. That includes notifications and different things, a different setup layout to the app that looks a little more familiar to you guys. So super, super excited for you guys to see that update. But right now, I want to keep this flow going. Hit the share button. I've got another video for you guys. This is another undercut, and then we're going to do one without an undercut. But this is a bob. It's an undercut bob. Super cool end result. Very sleek. So I think you guys will like it. I understand it won't work on every one of your clients, but just take the technique for what it is and try to place it into something that you would do in the salon. So here it is, undercut bob. Here we go. All right, guys, so we're going to start off this video like every video. We're going to start off by sectioning the haircut. Sectioning is the most important part. Now, it's really important with this haircut because of the fact that we're going to do an undercut. An undercut is basically removing density from the cut, so taking away a lot of the hair, but allowing the top of the hair to fall over it, which basically gives you a lighter feel to the haircut, more PC feel, especially with thick, dense hair. So this is a really cool cut for somebody with a thicker to medium density hair. If they have fine hair, I wouldn't do this haircut on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off doing clipper over comb. The reason I chose clipper over comb is because, first off, I just want to get the bulk out of the way. So I'm going to use my YS Park 209 comb. This is a great comb for clipper over comb because it's nice and wide. And it's got a smooth surface, so it's easy to glide over the comb with the clipper. So I just hold the hair into my hand and I cut it at around the length that I'm looking for. It's not necessarily, this isn't the final cut. I'm just getting the bulk out of the way and then working my way through. You could also use a guard in this, but I want to leave it a little bit longer. I don't like to go shaving the bottom of the hair because my goal is really just to have a nice kind of push off so that it gives a little height to the rest of the haircut. So if you think about it, if I leave a little bit of density throughout the bottom and in the nape area, when the top hair falls over, it pushes it out a little bit, gives it some more volume. So I go through, clipper over comb, clean it up nice, get all the lengths very similar, and then I'll go through and do my detailing on the edges. So I'm scooping the hair up, angling the comb towards me, and passing the clipper over the comb. Now what I'm going to do is go through and do a little blow dry just to smooth down the hair. Now this is for a couple reasons. I'm using a mannequin. The hair tends to stick straight out from the head. So this could be a similar situation that you guys are in. But I like to go through and just blow dry it, use the heat of the blow dryer to lay down the hair, get it nice and polished. Then I go through and I clean up the edges using my scissor. I'm using the Mizutani Type K scissor. This is one of my favorites. We have on freesaloneducation.com for purchase. You can check that out as well. But I like this scissor at a 5.5 inch because it gives me a nice strong blade. But this scissor is very, very soft. So if you love a soft feel to the haircut when you're cutting hair, then this is definitely the scissor for you. So you can see, nice, not too short, but short enough. Now I'm going to comb everything back to me and go center part directly down across the top and then down center back. And I'm going to separate this into 4 quadrants. We're going to make this haircut very simple. So the hardest part is that undercut. Make sure that your sectioning is the right way. But now what I'm going to do is go through just braiding off each section or each panel. The reason I like to braid it is because it just looks better than a clip. It also keeps the hair in the direction that I want it to be for the rest of the haircut. So sometimes when you twist everything up in a Zulu knot, it takes away some of the timing. So just braiding it, keeping it in the direction. I have everything combed the direction I'm going to have it later, so it's just quicker work. So now I comb everything down, hold it flat with my fingers. This will start my guideline, but also give me 0 elevation. So a lot of people would pinch it in their fingers at that point. But what that's going to do is give you that flip because it's going to cut shorter hair. It's going to give it a slight bit of elevation. So you're not going to get a strong line on the base. So keeping everything tight to the neck allows you to have pure 0 elevation on the bottom. So now I'm going to work a backhand technique. The thing I like about this technique, as opposed to holding it in my fingers and cutting it at my finger, is that it really allows me to see the lengths that I'm cutting. So I go past the guide, and then I visualize where I want that line to be, and I cut it in. So tends to work on this type of cut where there's not a lot of density. I probably wouldn't do that same technique if this was a full bob haircut, but when you have a light density, it's a really cool technique just to create a line in there. So you can see I do the same thing on the sides, creating a little bit of an angle so it drops a little bit in the front, following that jawline. Now this side is where you're going to see the benefits of this backhand technique because I want to match up this side with the left side. They're symmetrical. It's parted in the center, so you want to have the same length. So I find that visual point. I go past my guide where my guide would be, and I cut the hair exactly where I want it to match up with the opposite side. So it takes a little getting used to. Definitely practice it, but it's a cool technique to add into your toolbox like we talk about in other videos. So now we're using Bricado Mousse. I'm going to put that through the hair. I work it through with the brush, and then we're going to do a flat wrap technique just to soften the hair, get it into a natural fall, get it nice and smooth. You can see the shine starting to develop on the hair. Really, that comes from the air passing over the cuticle, laying that cuticle down, and just creating that reflection of the light. So we go back and forth, polishing the hair, and working that flat wrap technique. I'm using the Ergo paddle brush. It's got great tension. It's really soft on your guest. So it pulls the hair nice and tight, gives you that tension, creates the shine. So just a really great tool. Now I'm going to go in, finish it off with the Bricado VibraStraight iron. So the great thing about this technique is that there's not a lot of density left in the hair. So ironing it's pretty simple. You don't have to work through the back nape. That's the hardest part. It's where all of you guys out there, if you're not a hairdresser and you have a bob haircut, you struggle with trying to get the nape smooth. But if you have it cut short and you have an undercut, you don't have to worry about that. So we go through, just use the VibraStraight iron, mid shaft to ends, polish it out. And now I'm going to do my finishing touches with some dry cutting techniques to really just pull this haircut together. I want to add a little bit of texture to it, but I also want to polish the outer perimeter, and that's what we're doing now. Still using the Type K, just smoothing out the front there a little bit more, but using the Type K, the point of the scissor to go across the perimeter, cut it that line that I want, and now I'm going to go through doing the tease cutting technique. The trick to this technique is it's a half open, half closed, so you're not actually closing the scissor down on the hair. You're just pinching the hair into the mid shaft of the scissor, so of the blade. So really just pulling the hair into the middle of the blade, half cutting as you push in, teasing the hair in that way, and then that'll give you your cut. So you don't want to close all the way. You just want to give it a nice soft teased cut feel. Gives it that separation and texture. I'm going to break it down and go a little bit slower here in 1 second. So same thing, I'm grabbing hair, pulling it straight out from the head, no over direction. We're not trying to change the shape of the haircut. If I over direct the hair, I would shift the weight. So half close, and then open, half close, then open. And just holding the hair straight out from the head, creating a light feel to the layering that we're creating. Elevation is nice and high. You can see that. I hold it high up in the air and I let my guideline fall out. So I let the outer perimeter fall out because you don't want to cut into the outer perimeter. Once that falls out, then I start the tease cutting technique throughout. All right, so we're gonna finish off the cut with this product that Joico sent me. It's called Hair Shake. And the cool thing about this product, when you shake it, it sounds like it's a spray paint can, but then when you spray it out, it comes out feeling like you think it's a liquid, and then by the time it hits the hair, it turns into a powder form. So it gives you this really cool texture that I think is unique to a lot of different products out there. It's got a really great smell to it. So just a really cool way to finish off a textured haircut. So next time, guys, next video, I'm gonna color this haircut. So let me know what you think. This is the color technique that we're gonna do. We're gonna create more of a root. Yep. All right, so what did you guys think? Another undercut. I really dig that one because it just creates such a sleek effect. So it seems like you guys in the chat like it. I want to keep this thing flowing. I got one more haircut for you guys for the show today. I want to keep everybody online, so just stay there. Share this video, share this live stream with your friends. Here is the cut. It's a layered haircut on long hair. Hope you enjoy the technique. Here we go. Start off the haircut on the left-hand side. If your guest part's on the opposite side, then you're going to start there and mimic what I'm doing. But you want to start off where your guest parts their hair. That's the key thing in this haircut. Now, if you have trouble getting through long hair, this is our Ergo polishing paddle brush. The cool thing about it, you can see through the teeth when you hold it vertically, and then when you hold it horizontally, the teeth are a little more scattered. What that does is when you're holding the brush vertically, it's going to have wider teeth, so it's easier to detangle the hair, and then you can switch it to a more of a horizontal hold of the brush. That's going to give you more tension and help you polish out the hair. So there's two uses for one brush. And you want to make sure you're using it the right way, because if the hair is kind of tangled up and you hold the brush horizontally, you might get the brush stuck in the hair. It's going to do a lot more pulling. So that's just a cool little tip for you guys. Check your paddle brush, see if it's like that. If not, if you're looking for a new paddle brush, we definitely have that one on Free Salon Education. So we're going to start by parting the hair. We have the part on the left-hand side. Then what I did was I took from mid-crown over to the temple area and sectioned off an asymmetrical triangle on the heavy side of the head. Now I create another triangle from mid-crown down to behind the ear, and I do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to start by cutting a base line to start the structure of the haircut. So what I want to do is create a nice solid line to use as my beginning guideline, and to also clean up the bottom of the hair before I started. We're going to be going through with concave layering. What that's going to do is help collapse the head shape. We're going to work with pie-shaped sections throughout the back. So everything's going to go to the previous section. We're going to have a traveling guide, which is a little bit harder, because anytime you're moving your guide throughout the haircut, it's harder to stay consistent. So just make sure you're really focused on every move that you make is happening the same exact way, and you have a really strong guideline coming through in the haircut. So we're working concave in the back. We're collapsing the shape. We're removing a maximum amount of weight in the back, which is why this haircut is so great for high density hair. So all I'm doing is taking those pie-shaped sections, bringing the hair to the previous, looking for my strong guide in the back. And how I started the haircut, I took a vertical section and I just grabbed my guide from the very bottom. So I lifted the hair, found that guide. And I think what a lot of people do when they're cutting concave in the back, especially working around this way, is they don't follow their guide so much. They just follow the bottom piece of hair. So what happens is you build inconsistency in the shape. What you want to do is cut that first line, that first vertical parting that you take, cut that, base that off of the bottom length, but then as you work through the back of the haircut, use your guide and make sure that you stay with your guide throughout the entire back so that you get a nice structured cut. Just because we're collapsing weight doesn't mean that we don't want structure, because when you go through and you blow it dry at the end, which you guys will see, you want that structure to help have a really nice polished finished look. So continuing throughout the back, you can see the head sheets on the side. Those are also going to be available. I'll be posting those up on FSE social app so you can download them, save them to your phone if you want to kind of refer back to the head sheets. I'm trying to do that with all of these cuts so that you guys can download them and have them with you even if you can't watch the video throughout the day. So one thing I want you to take notice of is the body position that I'm in. So I'm standing on the right-hand side of the guest. key thing to make sure when you're cutting concave so that your elbow doesn't get in the way, your elbow should be away from the head. So if your elbow is on top of the head, then you're standing in the wrong position. So just make sure that you shift yourself so that when you shift that elbow up, you can get your elbow right where you want it. I like to keep my elbow closer to my body. I think anytime you lift your elbow too much, you lose that consistency in your line. That's a personal preference. Some people love to kick their elbow up and create a straight line with their hand and their elbow. But for me, I like to just keep my arms as low as possible throughout the haircut to keep that consistency. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go through, I let down the sides. I'm going to go through and cut a nice blunt line on the bottom and then check my balance. Now the balance is going to be a little bit off, and you need to know that as you're cutting it because I have an asymmetrical section still sectioned away on the top. So the one side that's not sectioned off is going to be longer in the front than the side that is sectioned off. So that's good. It's a really important thing to remember because a lot of people go in and just start cutting to balance that right away, and you need to know. So what I like to do is check it from the back. If you look at it from the back, you can see the balance to the shape, and then you don't go in and cut things that you shouldn't and mess up the entire haircut. So now we're going to work through the sides, still creating almost a concave layer. This is pretty much at 100 degrees at this point. So we're definitely removing a ton of weight from the side of the head, creating those seamless layers. Anything above 90 degrees is going to be seamless. You're not really going to see any weight lines in the haircut. So I wanted to have that nice and light feel on the weaker side of the haircut, have those nice light layers, but leave a little bit of extra length on the side so that you still keep that density. So we're going to work through, everything's coming back to the previous, still a traveling guide in this haircut, still keeping that finger angle the same and working through. You notice right there, I took up too much hair, couldn't see the guide, so I make my adjustment and I recomb it. You want to make sure as you're working through a haircut, if you ever lose your guide, if you're talking too much or whatever you're doing, you lose that guide, then just recomb. Don't cut until you find it because you're just doing yourself harm if you go that route. So we're working through the back now into the other side. Same thing. So you can see my elbow is away from the head, working those kind of concave layers in the back and just working my way through. The big thing that I've changed now is that I'm combing the hair away from my body towards my guide. Talk about it in every haircut. I'm going to talk about it in every haircut I ever teach, is that you want to comb the new hair towards the guide so you're not pushing the guide from where it lives. If you move your guide too much, then it diffuses the guide, you can't see it, and you end up with the haircut that you didn't want. So just as you're working through, make sure you really focus on your combing. Combing is what makes a professional hair cutter more than just the scissor or the cutting or anything like that. You want to make sure that you're combing the right way. So over directing everything to the previous, getting our guide from there, working our way through the side, and just finishing up this part. So you can see that layering coming about. Now I comb down the top portion, and we're going to work with the round of the head to create these nice soft round layers. I want to keep everything at 90 degrees at this point, so I'm following the head shape. So if you look back at previous haircuts that we've done, this is taking pieces from everything that we do. So when you look at the 90-degree haircut that I did maybe a month ago, this is a piece of that. So following the head shape. So we created concave layers throughout the whole kind of baseline area, everything under the parietal ridge, to collapse more of the head shape. Because we're working with a denser, a higher density of hair. So the thicker the hair, the more weight you want to remove. So we remove that from the side. Now I'm going through creating soft layers at 90 degrees, not being as extreme with the layering, and just connecting it that way. So it's combining. This is a big thing that I want to really drive home with everyone, is that every haircut that you see me doing, you shouldn't be doing them exactly the way that I do it. Every guest's hair is different. Every guest's hair has a different density. Every guest's hair has a different texture and formation. You should not be copying exactly what I'm doing with the haircut. Take each thing and add it to every haircut. So all 50 of these vlog videos that we've done are all different haircuts, but they're done for a purpose. So make sure that you grab pieces from every single one and create your own feel to every haircut that matches your guest. So that is the end of the haircut. We worked our way through, still a traveling guide, and you can see how that shape of the haircut really falls nice. You could wear this curly, you could wear it straight. It's a great haircut for pretty much medium to high density hair. And now we're gonna go through, we got our Bricado mousse, and I'm gonna blow it dry. So I work the product through the ends. It's pretty exciting. We actually have that product available on Free Salon Education now. And I go through with the brush vertically, which we talked about at the beginning, to detangle the hair and really work that product through. I want to get the product on every bit of the hair. Now I go through and use my hands to blow dry the hair. There's no reason, we're going to go in with a round brush, but there's no reason to use a brush to do the whole entire blow dry when you can get it 90% dry and then go through with your brush and finish off the rest. So we're going to be working with our Ergo round brushes. So I love Ergo brushes. We've had them on the site for a while. I don't show off round brushes enough, and you guys have been requesting it. So I'm going to go through. I sectioned off the top, a horseshoe shape, with a chopstick, and then I just work the outer edges with 2 round brushes. So I do 1 round brush, heat it up, work that section, really polish it out, and let the brush set and cool in there. And then as soon as I work my next section, I leave the brush in there and then I clip away the previous. So just working those 2 brushes through. If you want to have 10 brushes, that's cool too. You could do that. But 2 brushes kind of working through. And then I use pin curl clips to hold the hair together. Now, this is a quick blow dry. This is more of a salon friendly blow dry. Not super polished, but it's definitely, I'm creating as much volume as possible and going through there, and just, again, it's more of a salon reality kind of thing. So working my way through, switching those brushes off, twisting the hair. So when I take the hair out of the brush, I re-twist it up and pin it away with the pin curl clip, and just sections it away nice. The reason you want to pin it away and let that brush kind of cool in there is because when you heat up the hair, it allows it kind of breaks down the bonds, allows it to get very flexible. And then as it cools, everything hardens back up. So that's how you get that shape to really last all day. So you're going to get more longevity out of your blow dry. And then when you're working through with different working sprays and your hands and all of that, you don't lose the shape of the blow dry. So I'm working my way through the top now. We've worked our way through the sides. Same thing on the top. What I'm doing is working from the part to the heavy side. So I'm working kind of like a diagonal forward section all the way through. Same thing though with both brushes. And then when I get to the very front part, then I start brushing everything forward, because if I'm working that brush forward, it's going to give me more volume right in the front of the hair. So this was all about creating those light layers, taking out a lot of density in a high density head of hair. So you want to have more volume, because what that's going to do is kind of bring those layers to life. So over directing everything the opposite direction that she's going to wear it, finish it up with Bricado medium hold hairspray, then take out the pin curl clips. You can work your hands through the hair. You can see how nice the curl is held in there. And then I just kind of finish it up, polish it with a curling iron. It's a large barrel curling iron, works really well. So I hope you guys like this cut. Definitely let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and there you go.
All right. So what'd you guys think of that one? I love the end result of it. That's definitely a salon friendly cut. So if you guys were looking for that, then we hit it. So let me know. What'd you guys think? Maybe I'll give this to my Sam Via mannequin to preserve her length. That's a good one. It's a good call. All right, cool. Looks like all of you guys liked it. How'd you enjoy the show? Let me know that. Did you like this show?
Sorry for the technical difficulties in the middle of it. I'm going to splice it all together, and it will be on the app later on today, probably in a little bit. But I'll splice the two halves of the show together so you guys can watch it in full again. If you missed any of it, if you're just jumping on now, you can definitely watch it later. I'll be live every day this week at 12 o'clock Eastern time, noon. So we'll have some lunch, learn some education, and just enjoy it. So thanks, Johnny Livingston, on the show today. Thank you to Ryan Teal for being the guest today. I know for a fact I got a couple guests coming up this week that I think you guys are going to enjoy. One of them, Ricardo Santiago from Joico, is going to be on the show this week, so that should be really fun. Who else do you guys want to see on the show? I can always give them a shout and see if they want to come on, see if they have education to share. But I love having the guests. Do you guys enjoy that? Let me know in the chat as well. Do you like when I bring people on here? Today was definitely more my education and not so much the other brands. Did you guys like that? Is there any brand education that you would like to see? Tag them in the comments because I'd love to reach out to them and see. Men's cutting is something that I'd love to like partner up with somebody that has great men's education. So if any of you guys know anybody out there that you enjoy watching their education, let me know because I'd love to get them on this show as well. 2 a.m. in Australia when you go live. Jess, you're a trooper. I appreciate that. You're on every day, so you don't sleep. Good job. How is the industry in Australia? Let me know. What's going on there? Love your education. I take a little piece off every cut. Awesome. Thanks so much. Please, great at men's cuts. Ali Ray Salon. All right, why don't you send me anybody that you know is great at men's cuts? Subject line men's cuts. Email me, matt@freesaloneducation.com, and just give me their information or your information or whatever. But you have to have tutorials, obviously. You have to have the ability to create tutorials because if you don't, then it's hard for me to do it remote like we've been. So they have to be the ability to create tutorials and, you know, have an internet connection. That's it. And we'll get you on the show. Keon, that's true. Johnny, good call. And I think he's been creating some stuff too. So I'll have to reach out to him. I did reach out to him to be a guest on the show, but I haven't, but we never coordinated a date, but he is putting tutorials out. So that'd be cool to reach out to him. All right, cool. So, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. I really appreciate all of the love and the support of it and everything. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying making it every day and just having something to create and come up with. Another question, and you guys can put it in the chat. When we get back to normal and we're back in the salon, what time during the day would be the best to watch a show like this? Would it be in the morning, earlier? Would it be at noon and you could watch it later if you wanted? Or evening time is tough for me. So I'm thinking like morning, maybe a little bit earlier. So we'll see, but let me know what you think. And Johnny's saying he'll do a tutorial. So Johnny, you should do that. I would love it. Anybody that wants to create a tutorial and then send me a message, and tag me in that tutorial or whatever, and you want to get it on this show, I would love to show it, and I'd love to have you on as a guest. I don't care who you are, what your following is, it doesn't matter. As long as the education is good and the intent is good, you're welcome on this show for sure. So Johnny, I obviously would have. I've already had your work on here. I should have had you on as a guest when I did that, but if you want to create something, then I'd love to have you on. Morning is good. Cool. Love that. Same time. Love that. Morning would be better for Jess for sure because it's 2 a.m. at her house. Weekend is better. I'm doing it every day. Every day. Monday through Friday. No weekend. My weekend's for my family. And I'm trying to keep that normal. So yeah, every day, Monday through Friday. Right now it's 12 Eastern because a lot of us are out of work, and I just feel like it's got a good flow to it. I like the afternoon feel, and it's not too early on the West Coast, which is kind of nice. It's only 9 a.m. there, so that's nice. And it's only 2 a.m. for Jess in Australia. So, all right, cool. I would watch later, so you decide. Cool. Perfect time for me. Agree. Cool. All right, guys, you're the best. Make sure you download the FSE Now app. Here it is. Go take a look at it. A lot of you guys that are on here right now know what it is. But if you don't know what it is, go check it out, please. Here it is. All right, and another cool thing is this is the prototype right now, but let me see here. Actually, let me find somebody that has a cool profile in here. Somebody that has a gallery. It says Stephanie has one. Here, let me see. Maybe it's not loading. So what we're going to do, just to share with you guys, so the update on the app, you can now look at stylist profiles on the app, and you can see their work. So their work will come up in a gallery. I don't have work on there. But also, there's all these cool buttons on the bottom. So if you want to upload your work, if you want to watch education, you just click the education thing there. My internet's slow because I'm on the air. But you can go through your education here. All of your notifications, your likes, all of that stuff will show up here. And then you've got your news feed with everybody's work showing up, and you can comment and write. And now when you get a comment on your photo or your work, then you get an alert about it. Or if a client sends you a message through Stylist Locator, you'll get an alert about it on the app, which will start the communication better, because as of right now, no one knows when they get a comment. So step by step, we're making it happen. And it's really super fun on there. So that update is coming soon. There was a couple of things that I didn't love about it. So obviously we're not putting it out until it's ready. I was hoping over the weekend we were going to get all finalized, but just a lot of back and forth. So the update's coming, and I'm glad you guys are liking the app. And I love seeing everybody's work on here. Like when I pull it up and I just see new stuff constantly, I love it. So keep that coming. Yeah, keep it coming, and download the app. It's free. It's completely free. And you create a profile, share your work, you watch education, all these videos go up there. So I hope you like it. All my hair school class downloaded your app. Awesome. Thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. Tara, great show. Thank you. Cool. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I really, again, appreciate you. Appreciate the support of Free Salon Education always. And can't wait to be back here tomorrow live with you guys again. What do you want the show to be about? Let me know that in the comments so that I can start figuring it out. Also, you can text this phone number right here at any time. I get your texts. I see them. And I try to load up the show based on those requests as well. So send them my way. Can't wait to see them. What do we say at the end of this show? It's going to be a great day. Enjoy your day, guys. It's gonna be a great day. And I'll see you on the next show.
Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day.
See you guys.
Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you.